After booking his flight on October 17th, Myung-oh called Do-young. Since Do-young was hard to reach, his secretary took the message and informed him about the call. Hearing that one of Yeonjin's friends wanted to contact him made Do-young curious. On October 18th, Myung-oh called Sarah and asked to meet and exchange dollars while they talked. Sarah refused at first, but everything changed when Myung-oh mentioned So-hee and a video he had of her. Sarah admitted she was there the night So-hee died, but said she was too high to call the police before hanging up. At the same time, Myung-oh was inside Jae-jun's house, stealing his clothes. He then called Jae-jun and blackmailed him. After years of working under him, Myung-oh knew all about his dirty business deals. He threatened him over the embezzlement in his company and also questioned him about So-hee. Before hanging up, he demanded money through crypto. While leaving the house, Myung-oh called Hae-jung and asked her to run away to Russia with him. He confessed his feelings and warned her about Dong-eun's revenge plan. But Hae-jung had no intention of leaving her rich fiancé for him. Later, on October 19th, Myung-oh called Dong-eun and threatened to expose her to Yeonjin. In return, he demanded the name tag So-hee was holding the night she died. But Dong-eun stayed calm, told him to do whatever he wanted, and hung up. In the present, Do-young and Yeonjin arrive at Dong-eun's house. Yeonjin is shocked to see her husband there and asks if Dong-eun tried to turn him against her. At the same time, Dong-eun is surprised to see the photos on display with Yeonjin at the center of everything. She quietly watches everything through the camera feed on her phone. Do-young asks Yeonjin why she bullied Dong-eun so badly and pushed her close to suicide. He wants to hear a proper reason from her. But Yeonjin coldly admits that she did it simply because she didn't like Dong-eun. Her answer leaves Do-young speechless. Before leaving, Yeonjin drops her cigarette on the floor and tells Do-young he can stay if he wants. She says he disappointed her and walks away. Watching the camera feed, Dong-eun notices that Do-young politely removed his shoes before entering the house. Do-young stays behind and notices the photos of Jae-jun with Ha Ye-sol. Elsewhere, Yo-jung visits the morgue to look into So-hee's body. There, he learns that his father ordered the body to be kept frozen. He is shocked to discover his father was connected to the case. Meanwhile, Dong-eun can no longer return home, so she stays at Yo-jung's house. After leaving the hospital, Yo-jung happily returns home with bedding, excited that Dong-eun is now living with him. Meanwhile, Sarah becomes nervous after the police call her in for questioning. She calls Jae-jun, who is about to meet the detectives, but unlike her, he stays calm. Sarah is struggling with withdrawals and can barely remember what happened. She starts wondering if she killed Myung-oh and even thinks about using her drug use as an excuse if she really did it. Jae-jun gets annoyed, hangs up on her, and meets the detective. During the meeting, Jae-jun tells the detective that Myung-oh stopped showing up for work and he was planning to fire him anyway. He also mentions that Do-young was desperately searching for Myung-oh before he disappeared, making it seem like Do-young had a reason to go after him. The detective becomes interested, but focuses on another question, whether Myung-oh was involved in drugs. The case is no longer treated as a simple missing person case, but now a criminal investigation. At the same time, Dong-eun meets Yeonjin at her workplace, and the two go out for coffee. Dong-eun gives Yeonjin one last chance to save herself. She shows her an old incident report from 18 years ago and tells her to confess to the police. But Yeonjin refuses. Pretending not to be afraid, she insults Dong-eun and even threatens to kill her. She believes Dong-eun is only bluffing because if she had real proof, she would have already gone to the police. Dong-eun stays calm and tells Yeonjin that her revenge will be far worse and that she has spent years making sure Yeonjin pays for everything. Yeonjin only laughs at her. She arrogantly claims that she actually gave Dong-eun a purpose in life. She says Dong-eun became a teacher because of her and insists she never ruined Dong-eun's life. According to Yeonjin, Dong-eun's life was miserable from the start, and she mocks her for believing someone from such a poor background could ever find justice or karma. Dong-eun is not surprised by Yeonjin's cruel words. She already expected Yeonjin to insult and look down on her. Still, because of Do-young's kindness, Dong-eun wanted to give Yeonjin one final chance to save herself. After that, She quietly picks up her bag and leaves the cafe. In this moment, we also learn that Yeonjin has been burning her assistant with a curling iron too. Meanwhile, Do-young cannot stop thinking about the truth that Jae-jun is Hye-sol's real father. He feels angry and disturbed, especially after hearing that the police want to question him about Myung-oh's disappearance. His secretary then gives him a USB drive left behind by Myung-oh. Inside is proof of Yeonjin's affair with Jae-jun. While driving home, Do-young throws the USB away. But after reaching home and staring at the closet, he suddenly realizes something important. At the same time, Dong-eun returns to Yo-jung's house and finds him finishing the tent she ordered. She is touched by how warm and cozy he made it because no one has ever cared for her like that before. Yo-jung even prepares a romantic dinner and offers to sing for her, making Dong-eun feel shy and awkward. She thanks him for letting her stay there and promises to help with the household expenses. Elsewhere, Sara, Yeonjin, Jae-jun, and Hye-jung gather to talk about the police investigation involving Myung-oh. Yeonjin tells them this is not the time for them to fight each other. Instead, she says they need to work together and deal with Dong-eun first. Yeonjin shows the group the old incident report Dong-eun gave her. But Sara does not care at all and says this is Yeonjin's problem. Instead, she asks if Myung-oh questioned them about So-hae. One by one, they admit that he did. Hye-jung even reveals that she almost told him Yeonjin was the one who sent her to the abandoned building the day So-hee died. Yeonjin reminds them that they were all involved back then because So-hee's report caused trouble for everyone. Hye-jung is shocked when Yeonjin acts like they should all share the blame equally. Years ago, Yeonjin protected herself by using Jae-jun as her alibi. Hearing all this, Jae-jun starts thinking about what the lawyer told him earlier. He wonders if he should take back his statement and use it to force Yeonjin to divorce Do-young. In a flashback, we finally see the truth. Yeonjin pushed So-hee to her death, and during the struggle, So-hee grabbed Yeonjin's name tag. Furious that her friends are ready to betray her, Yeonjin storms out and calls the corrupt detective who handled So-hee's case. She asks him about the missing name tag. The detective, Shin Young-jun, reveals that the name tag was included in the anonymous evidence Dong-eun once sent to the police. But instead of investigating, he secretly handed it over to Yeonjin's mother. Her mother then locked it away in a safety deposit box. Back in the present, Dong-eun meets the detective handling Myung-oh's disappearance. However, he refuses to believe Yeonjin could be involved. He warns Dong-eun to watch her words since she has no proof and could even be sued for defamation. After hearing that, Dong-eun decides not to share any more information about Myung-oh with him. Later, Yeonjin meets with the corrupt detective Shin Young-jun. He assures her that the name tag was destroyed long ago by her mother. He also tells her about the car Dong-eun bought for her helper, Hyun-nam. Meanwhile, Hyun-nam is still suffering because of her abusive husband. This time, he even beat their daughter. Hyun-nam desperately hopes Dong-eun can send her daughter, Sun-ah, to the US to study. Dong-eun is already preparing the documents because she wants Sun-ah far away before they deal with her father. At the same time, Yo-jung meets with his mother and tells her about his decision to help Dong-eun, the woman he loves. His mother supports him but advises him to stay careful and keep his plans secret. Elsewhere, Dong-eun meets her former teacher who once helped her. She collects So-hee's old incident report, which So-hee's mother gave her back in 2011 while begging for justice for her daughter. The report reveals something shocking. So-hee was pregnant when she died. But the father's identity remains unknown. Later, Dong-eun returns to her house and starts removing the photos from the walls. She notices that one photo is missing. This reminds her of her phone call with Myung-oh when he claimed he was innocent. But Dong-eun told him he was not innocent in So-hee's case and that he also had blood on his hands. This raises a new question. Was Myung-oh connected to So-hee's pregnancy? It is then revealed that after talking to Dong-eun, Myung-oh called Yeonjin and arranged to meet her at 11 p.m. on the night he disappeared. Once again, Yeonjin was wearing her green heels that night. The episode ends with Yeonjin confronting Hyun-nam, Young visiting Jae-jun's store and asking to see the fitting room. As he looks around, he realizes that Yeonjin had secretly been there with Jae-jun many times. The truth hurts him deeply. Earlier, while standing inside their walk-in closet at home, Do-young suddenly remembered how often Yeonjin bought clothes from Jae-jun's store, and everything finally started making sense. Meanwhile, Hyun-nam finds herself trapped under Yeonjin's terrifying threats. Yeonjin had already figured out that Dong-yeon could not have been following all of them alone and must have had someone helping her. After learning from Shin Young-jun that Dong-yeon owned two cars, Yeonjin connected the dots and investigated Hyun-nam. Now, Yeonjin uses Hyun-nam's daughter, Suna, as a way to control her. Yeonjin discovers that Dong-eun and Hyun-nam have been secretly working together because both of them want revenge on someone different. Dong-eun wants Yeonjin dead, while Hyun-nam wants to escape from her abusive husband forever. Taking advantage of this, Yeonjin offers Hyun-nam a dangerous deal. She promises to kill Hyun-nam's husband if Hyun-nam agrees to obey her and do everything she says. Later, Dong-eun arrives at their usual meeting place, only to find both the car and Hyun-nam gone. She immediately realizes something is wrong. The truth is that after meeting with Yeonjin, Hyun-nam panicked and decided to run away with Suna. She desperately hopes they manage to escape the people following them, though she has no clear destination in mind. All she knows is that she must protect her daughter at all costs. Suna, unaware of the full danger, asks why they are suddenly leaving town. At the same time, she feels excited to be running away with her cool mom. The next morning, Dong-eun keeps trying to contact Hyun-nam, but gets no response. At the same time, she cannot leave school early because the teachers are holding an important meeting about an upcoming festival and field trip. During the meeting, Dong-eun is forced to take on even more responsibilities for the event preparations. Feeling pressured, Dong-eun contacts Hye-jung and orders her to lure Yeonjin to a specific location. Hye-jung hesitates, saying Yeonjin may not even answer her calls after their recent fight. But Dong-eun coldly tells her to find a way, or she will personally ruin her wedding. A little later, another teacher urgently calls Dong-eun and tells her to come to the parking lot immediately. When Dong-eun arrives, she freezes in shock after seeing her drunken mother causing a scene there. It turns out Yeonjin tracked down Dong-eun's mother and met with her personally. Yeonjin offered her money in exchange for helping get Dong-eun fired from the school. The moment Dong-eun's mother saw the cash, she immediately agreed. The truth is that a few months earlier, Dong-eun's mother had already found her new home in Semyeong. However, after causing trouble, the landlord threw her out. Dong-eun is shocked because she never even knew this had happened. Dong-eun takes her mother back to the house and asks how she managed to find her again. Her mother reveals that she came by during the spring, making Dong-eun realize that someone had hidden the truth from her. She quickly suspects Yeonjin was behind both her mother's sudden return and Hyun-nam's disappearance. Meanwhile, Jae-jun is busy preparing a room for Hye-sol. While discussing the renovations, the contractor warns him that his beloved dog could become a health issue for his daughter. Yeojung and Yeonjin unexpectedly meet at his plastic surgery clinic after Haejung secretly arranges it. Earlier, Haejung told Yeonjin that Dong-eun and Do-young had been spending time together playing Go. She also claimed that Do-young bought Dong-eun an expensive Hermes bag and met with her privately. Haejung points out that the only reason she has not betrayed Yeonjin yet is because they are still considered friends. She even mocks Yeonjin by suggesting she get cosmetic procedures done so her husband will not cheat on her. At that moment, Yeojung politely offers to handle the procedure himself, but Yeonjin rudely refuses and storms out of the clinic. Meanwhile, across town, Shin Young-jun learns that one of his men had threatened Dong-eun earlier during the fake car accident incident. Furious that someone acted without permission, Shin Young-jun violently beats the man responsible. Later that night, Dong-eun visits the convenience store near Hyun-nam's home and discovers that Hyun-nam has disappeared. Nearby, she notices Hyun-nam's drunk husband causing trouble and fighting with the store owner. Before things get worse, Dong-eun suddenly receives a message from Hyun-nam and quickly leaves. The two secretly meet in a parking lot, where Hyun-nam finally reveals that Yeonjin discovered her connection to Dong-eun. Earlier, Dong-eun had already suspected this after realizing the photo of Hyun-nam's husband had gone missing from her belongings. Hyunnam asks Dongin to protect Suna no matter what happens and promises that she is still loyal to her. She explains her risky plan. She wants to pretend she is now working for Yeonjin so she can secretly help Dongyun from the inside. After hearing this, Dongyun takes Suna to her former teacher for safety. She gently tells Suna to start watching American TV shows so she can improve her English before eventually moving abroad. Dongyun also promises the little girl that she will protect her mother from her abusive father. At the mansion, tension rises between Do-young and Yeonjin as they argue over why he secretly met with Hyejung. Yeonjin angrily accuses him of taking Dongyun's side, but Do-young fires back, saying that he is actually standing on their daughter's side. He points out that Yeonjin still shows no remorse for the terrible things she did in the past. Frustrated, he asks why she could not wait for him to bring up the topic himself instead of constantly hiding the truth from him. Meanwhile, with Christmas approaching, Jae-jun asks one of his store managers to help him buy a gift for Ha-ye-sol. During the conversation, the manager casually mentions that Do-young had recently visited the store. Curious, Jae-jun asks to see the CCTV footage. While reviewing the recordings, he discovers something suspicious. Yeonjin had specifically asked the manager to erase the footage from October 19th, the exact same day Myung-oh disappeared. At the same time, Dong-eun learns that Yo-jung had already spoken to the police regarding Myung-oh's disappearance. On the night Myung-oh vanished, he visited the hospital morgue looking for information about So-hee. Earlier, Yo-jung had instructed the morgue attendant to notify him if anyone came asking about So-hee. After receiving Myung-oh's number, Yo-jung called him, but Myung-oh immediately cursed at him and hung up the phone. Although the detective finds Yo-jung's actions suspicious, he chooses not to say anything for now. Back at his office, Do-young finally understands why Dong-eun sent him that photo of himself and Myung-oh at the convenience store. She wanted him to track Myung-oh down. Wanting answers, Do-young arranges a private meeting with Dong-eun at a hotel in Seoul, believing privacy is important for both of them. However, during their meeting, Do-young is left shocked after Dong-eun removes her coat and reveals the painful scars covering her body. While Dong-eun is meeting with Do-young, Yeonjin secretly returns to Yo-jung's clinic for filler treatments. During the procedure, before the anesthesia fully takes effect, Yo-jung calmly asks her one shocking question. What exactly did she do to Myung-oh? His words immediately trigger Yeonjin's memories from the night of October 19th when she met Myung-oh at Jae-jun's store. The moment they met, Yeonjin quickly realized that Myung-oh was trying to blackmail her. To stop him from recording their conversation, she smashed his phone. She coldly tells him that she expected better from him, but Myung-oh brings up Yoon So-hee and reminds her that So-hee still has not been properly buried. Myung-oh then claims he has evidence of what happened that night and says he plans to expose her the next day. Panicked, Yeonjin checks his pocket searching for the evidence, but instead only finds a condom. Myung-oh bursts into laughter after fooling her. He then demands 1 billion won from her. Furious, Yeonjin slaps him across the face. But Myung-oh continues mocking her and even asks her to sleep with him. That comment finally pushes Yeonjin over the edge. In a fit of rage, she grabs the whiskey bottle on the table and smashes it against his head. As Myung-oh struggles to stand up, Yeonjin strikes him once again, hitting him hard on the head a second time. Suddenly, Yeonjin wakes up from the procedure at Yo-jung's clinic and finds him calmly sitting beside her bed. With an innocent expression, Yo-jung softly asks her how well she slept. Flashback takes us back to October 19th, the night Myung-oh died. After realizing he was dying, Myung-oh grabbed Yeonjin's leg and scratched it with his ring, leaving the scar on her leg. Soon after, he took his last breath and Yeonjin started cleaning the scene. Since this was not the first time she dealt with something like this, she knew what to do, even though she was still shocked. She first cleaned the murder weapon, then changed out of her stained dress and put on a coat. After that, she called Shin Young-jun and his men to handle the body. The men carried the body away in a large blue box and threw Myung-oh's phone into the Han River. They then took his body to Yongsan Funeral Home and cleaned away any evidence left on him. Shin Young-jun suggested waiting for a rainy day before burying the body so the rain would wash away any remaining evidence. Meanwhile, Yeonjin was left to delete the CCTV footage and destroy her dress. Yeonjin suddenly wakes up in shock and asks Yojung who he is and what he did to her. She demands the CCTV footage, but the nurse explains there are no cameras in the operating room. Even though Yojung warns her that the anesthesia has not fully worn off, she grabs her shoes and runs outside. As the nurse follows her, Yojung turns off the monitor with a cold look. Yeonjin later gets home and tries to calm down. Meanwhile, Dongeun tells Do-young that she wants him to leave Yeonjin, but he says he will not leave his wife. Dongeun is not surprised and simply asks why, but Do-young says he cannot explain it. He is also surprised that Dongeun is not forcing him and asks to meet her again. Later, Dongeun goes home and wakes up to Yojung making dinner. They talk about their day, including Yeonjin's procedure and Dongeun's meeting with Do-young. Yojung offers to treat Dongeun's scars, but she refuses, saying they no longer hurt her. The next day, Dongwon learns that Suna passed her U.S. Embassy interview. She then sends a package to Hyun-nam, who is recovering after another beating from her husband. Inside are Suna's phone, a letter about the homestay family, and red lipstick that Dongwon thought would look good on her. Meanwhile, Yeonjin's mother gets a call from an employee at Ju General Hospital. The morgue attendant tells her that Yojung has been asking about Sohee's body. He explains that the body is still being kept in the freezer, though he does not know why. He also says he is scared because Myung-oh had also come looking for Sohee's body before. At the same time, Yeonjin starts wondering if she imagined Yojung's question during her procedure. While thinking about the strange events around his clinic, she notices Yojung outside and he comes over to greet her. She asks if she said anything during the surgery, and he tells her she mentioned Myung-oh's name. Later, Yeonjin goes shopping and texts Do-young that she will make crab stew, so he should eat at home. She also tells him she will not be there, meaning it will be safe. However, when she returns home, she is surprised to see him already eating. She asks why he ignored her message, and Do-young calmly says his silence was the answer. Yeonjin becomes angry and questions him about Dongeun and how she caught his attention. Do-young explains that he became curious after losing to Dongeun in a game of Go. Yeonjin accuses him of cheating, but Do-young says it is unfair for her to say that when she has been having an affair with Jae-jun. At school, Suna visits Dongeun and thanks her for helping her. She feels sad that neither Dongeun nor her mother can take her to the airport, but she understands. Suna promises to study hard and become a good person. Before leaving, Dongeun hugs her and tells her to become a better person than she is. Meanwhile, Hyejung tries texting Myung-oh because she thinks he escaped to Russia. She wonders if Dongeun did something to him too. Then she remembers Myung-oh's tablet is still in Jae-jun's car. Pretending to be Jae-jun's girlfriend, she asks the new driver for the tablet. The driver refuses at first, but Jae-jun later gives permission. After getting the tablet, Hyejung goes through it and finds a recording from the night Myung-oh met Yeonjin. At the same time, Jae-jun becomes suspicious about why Yeonjin deleted the CCTV footage from October 19th. He decides to restore the footage and bribes a technician to finish it within 3 days. Elsewhere, Yeonjin keeps watching Hyun-nam's husband, but her men report that they cannot find Suna. Realizing something is wrong, Yeonjin calls Suna's school to get more information. As Yeonjin searches for Suna, Dongyeon prepares for her to leave the country the next day. She meets her friend Song-hee and asks for help contacting some gang members she used to know. Dongyeon then uses the men to distract Yeonjin's gang so Hyun-nam can safely make it to the airport. Just as Hyun-nam is about to leave, Yeonjin arrives and stops her. She threatens to call Hyejung and have Suna found at the airport. Desperate, Hyun-nam kneels and begs Yeonjin to leave her daughter alone. Yeonjin demands information about Dongwon's other helpers. Hyun-nam says she only knows about one man, but does not know his name or job. She promises to find out, and Yeonjin warns that if she fails, she will bring Suna back. Before leaving, Yeonjin cruelly says she will not give Hyun-nam's husband gambling money that day, meaning he will return home early. Sadly, Hyun-nam never makes it to the airport because her husband brutally beats her again. Before that, she had written a letter asking Suna's guardians to give her a happy life. Dong-eun watches Suna leave for the US and feels sad that Hunnam could not come. Yojung tries to comfort her. Later, Suna safely arrives in the US and sends her mother a message promising to wait for her. Back home, Hyunnam hides her phone and misses Dong-eun's call. Her husband notices a large amount of money in her purse and starts beating her again. To protect herself, she lies and says a strange woman borrowed her phone to send a message, but she became scared after reading it. Curious and greedy, her husband decides to check the message himself. Meanwhile, after speaking with the morgue attendant, Yeonjin's mother contacts Shin Young-jun and asks him to investigate why Yo-jung is looking into Sohee's death. Shin Young-jun starts checking whether it is illegal for the hospital to keep a dead body frozen. He also looks for legal help to go against Ju General Hospital. At the same time, Yo-jung is preparing to buy an abandoned funeral home and is close to completing the deal. Yeonjin's mother receives a message from an anonymous number claiming they know Yeonjin killed someone. The message was actually sent by Hunnam's husband. Around the same time, Dong-eun's mother contacts the parents of one of Dong-eun's students and tries to create more problems for her. Meanwhile, Dong-eun and Yo-jung play Go Together at home while Hyunnam cooks with Hope for the first time in a long while. Hye-jung also discovers something important on Myung-oh's tablet. At the same time, Shin Young-jun pays to keep Myung-oh's body hidden at a funeral home because he plans to use it as evidence against Yeonjin to get money from her. Later, Dong-eun and Yo-jung go for a drive. Dong-eun asks why he never told her that he knew Myung-oh and wonders if he suspected her of killing him. Yo-jung calmly replies that executioners do not question the people above them. He says he does not care what she did or what she wants because he is there to do whatever she asks. Dong-eun is surprised and asks why he is willing to go that far for her. Yo-jung reminds her that he once went through a difficult time in his life, and while tutoring her, he felt like she saved him. He tells her that he chose to become her partner in crime. Dong-eun calls him crazy, and they continue driving without noticing Shin Young-jun's car leaving the funeral home nearby. Dong-eun remembered Hyunnam telling her about a corrupt detective and the strange funeral home. Hyunnam took her there, and they secretly checked the abandoned building. Dong-eun noticed electricity was still being used, so she suspected something illegal was happening. Later, Dong-eun told Yo-jung that she believed Myung-oh's body was hidden inside the funeral home. She found out the place had been for sale for 3 years and was being looked after by a lottery shop owner. Yo-jung agreed to help her investigate. After buying the funeral home, they confirmed their suspicions. The owner was shocked that they did not call the police. Dong-eun and Yo-jung were also surprised to see that Shin Young-jun was preserving Myung-oh's body. Dong-eun believed he was keeping the body as protection for himself. Yo-jung then suggested bringing Yeonjin to his clinic to learn the truth. Hye-jung helped trick Yeonjin into going there. While Yeonjin was under anesthesia, Yo-jung secretly took a sample from her leg wound. In the present, Hyunnam meets Yeonjin and tells her about the man helping Dong-eun. She describes him as a young and successful surgeon who runs a clinic in Semyeong. Yeonjin becomes nervous after realizing she is talking about Yo-jung, whose family owns Ju General Hospital. After this, Yeonjin starts seeing visions of Sohee's ghost. At the same time, Yeonjin's mother becomes terrified after receiving threatening messages about Yeonjin's crimes. She goes to Shin Young-jun's office after he ignores her calls. He tells her he already found the person sending the messages and shared their information with her. She angrily says he should have handled it himself. Shin Young-jun gets upset and says they are not friends, only accomplices, before leaving. Meanwhile, Dong-eun sends Jae-jun a USB disguised as a school newsletter. She says she was unsure whether to send it to him or Do-young, but finally chose him. The USB contains secret photos of Hye-sol taken by Mr. Chu. After seeing the photos, Jae-jun rushes to the school in anger. At school, Dong-eun stops Mr. Chu from secretly taking more photos of the girls. She asks him to check the project he told her to work on. Mr. Chu had been bothering her for a long time, and she was already planning how to expose him. Jae-jun suddenly arrives at the staff room and hits Mr. Chu on the head with a camera. He violently beats him until Ha Yesol sees everything. Shocked, Yesol calls Do-young and tells him what happened. The police soon arrive and arrest Jae-jun. At the station, his lawyer tries to convince him to settle the case. Do-young also arrives with his lawyer and helps settle things even though Jae-jun refuses. After leaving the station, Jae-jun keeps talking about the photos, but Do-young reminds him that he has no rights over Yesol. Jae-jun then reveals that he is Yesol's biological father. The two get into a fight, but Do-young easily defeats him. Before leaving, Do-young warns him to stay away from his daughter. Meanwhile, Hyunnam goes shopping with her husband and tells him that Yeonjin killed 2 people. Excited by the news, he runs outside to buy mangoes for her. However, he does not notice 2 of Shin Young-jun's men waiting outside and planning to make his death look like an accident. Elsewhere, Dong-eun meets the gang that Song-hee introduced her to and pays them for helping her deal with Yeonjin's men before. She also buys drugs from them. At the same time, Sarah continues struggling with her addiction after her parents discover she is still using drugs. Her father becomes angry because her actions are damaging his reputation as a pastor. Meanwhile, Park Sang-yim becomes upset after learning the police filed a report against the hospital because of So-hee's body. In the past, So-hee's mother refused to hold a funeral because she wanted justice for her daughter. Yo-jung's father believed So-hee did not die by suicide, so he secretly kept her body preserved in the hospital freezer. He hoped the truth would come out quickly, but even after 18 years nothing was solved, and he later passed away. Thankfully, Yeojung's mother strongly stands against the policeman sent by Shin Young-jun to remove the body from the freezer. On the other hand, Dong-eun's mother keeps trying to bother her daughter by texting Yeojung and asking to meet him. Yeojung goes to the hotel, quietly watches her from a distance, pays her bills, and leaves without speaking to her. At the same time, Yeonjin returns home and finds Yesol's driver there, along with Do-young waiting inside. He is speaking to his lawyer about getting a restraining order against Jae-jun. Yeonjin demands to know why Yesol left school early and went to her grandmother's house. Do-young tries to avoid arguing, but she insists on talking. Do-young finally tells Yeonjin about the fight with Jae-jun at school. He says he already knows all her secrets and had been staying quiet until now. He makes it clear that Yesol is still his daughter, even if they are not related by blood. Yeonjin claims she was trying to protect their family, but Do-young mocks her and asks what she actually protected with all her lies. Calling her selfish, he angrily leaves while Yeonjin breaks down on the floor. Soon after, Yeonjin gets a call from another parent about a meeting to remove a teacher involved in a bribery scandal. The teacher is Dong-yoon. Yeonjin lies that she is busy at work and cannot attend. Meanwhile, Dong-yoon is deeply hurt after learning her mother helped get her removed from school. She confronts her mom, and they get into a violent fight that leaves a scar on Dong-yoon's face. Angry and heartbroken, Dong-yoon destroys everything her mother received from the parents and locks herself inside her car crying. At that moment, Jae-jun arrives and angrily accuses Dong-yoon of telling Do-young everything and sending him to the police station. Luckily, Yeojung suddenly arrives and almost hits Jae-jun with his car. Pretending to apologize, he gives Jae-jun his business card before leaving with Dong-yoon. They return home, but Dong-eun is still emotionally hurt because her mother refuses to leave her alone even after she tried to cut ties. Dong-eun hides inside her tent while Yeojung keeps walking outside, worried about her. She finally asks why he is pacing around, and he tells her he just wants her to know he is there for her. When she asks how he found her, he says her mother texted him. Still crying, Dong-eun quietly listens as Yeojung tells her to rest. The next morning, Dong-eun goes to church and secretly meets the men she hired. They exchange a phone that contains photos she asked them to collect. From a distance, Hyunnam watches everything and calls Yeonjin to tell her that Dong-eun is at Sarah's parents' church. Dong-eun then uses the phone to send Sarah a picture of hidden drugs inside the church and invites her to the Garden of Eden. Unable to resist, Sarah goes to the basement and takes the drugs. Without her knowing, Dong-eun records everything and shares the video with the church members. One by one, people begin leaving after seeing the footage. As the drugs affect her, Sarah starts hallucinating and loses control of herself in front of others. People around her begin taking photos while Dongyeon watches her plan unfold. Soon, Yeonjin arrives and confronts Dongyeon. Dongyeon tells her this revenge took a lot of planning and asks if she liked the result. Yeonjin confidently says Sarah will recover because this is her first offense and claims Dongyeon still cannot defeat them. Dongyeon warns her to make sure she does not fall next. At the same time, Songhee uploads a post online exposing weather forecaster A for school violence. Yeonjin suddenly starts receiving notifications about her past bullying crimes. Dongyeon tells Yeonjin that Sarah may escape her scandal, but she will not be so lucky. She calls Yeonjin a murderer. When Yeonjin asks if she has proof, Dongyeon only laughs sarcastically and says she has no idea. The scandals involving Sarah and Yeonjin begin trending all over social media. Dooyoung quickly goes to pick up Yeonjin from the shaman's house where she was hiding, while Sarah tries to run away but gets arrested by the police. Meanwhile, Yeojung treats the wound on Dongyeon's face and comments on the growing scandal. Dongyeon asks if her mother has been bothering him, but he avoids answering directly. Doyoung takes Yeonjin to meet with lawyers. During the meeting, Yeonjin acts innocent and refuses to confirm or deny the accusations against her. Doyoung is surprised by her attitude, but stays quiet. Yeonjin tells the lawyers not to file any charges because she believes the scandal will disappear if they ignore it. At the same time, Sarah argues with the detectives and pressures her father and lawyers to quickly fix her drug case. Elsewhere, Jae-joon receives disappointing news from a technician who says deleted footage cannot be recovered because Yeonjin replaced the hard drive instead of erasing it. However, he soon gets a message from Hyejong asking to meet. When they meet, Hyejong plays him a recording she found on Myung-oh's phone. Jae-joon and Hyejong realize that Yeonjin was the last person to speak with Myung-oh, making her the main suspect in his death at Jae-joon's store. After learning this, Jae-joon changes his feelings toward Yeonjin and suddenly proposes to Hyejong. Since Hyejong always wanted this, she happily accepts and even says she is willing to raise Ye-sol as her own daughter. Meanwhile, Hyun-nam secretly continues helping Dong-eun while planning to leave her abusive husband. Her husband has recently been acting calm because he is busy blackmailing Yeonjin's mother. He even visits her house on purpose to scare her, pushing her into deeper fear. At the same time, Dongyeon meets Jung-ran, the manager of Jae-joon's store and another victim of the bully group. Dongyeon warns her not to interfere with her revenge plans. Elsewhere, Yeojung meets a friend and begins making moves in his own revenge plan against the man who killed his father. Later, Yeojung meets Do-young at a Go Center, and the two play together. During the game, Do-young notices that Yeojung's playing style is similar to Dong-eun's. Yeojung admits that he taught Dong-eun how to play and has been helping her with her revenge. Yeojung says Dong-eun deserves happiness after everything she suffered. Do-young agrees and hopes her revenge finally gives her peace. He asks why Yeojung does not try to stop her, and Yeojung explains that he wants Dong-eun to take back her life. Yeonjin struggles to get through reporters and paparazzi who keep asking if she is the weather forecaster involved in the bullying scandal. She denies everything and quickly goes to Jae-joon's store because she fears she may have left evidence behind. There, Gyeongran tells her that Jae-joon has been asking about the missing hard drive. Nervous, Yeonjin tells her to say she was the one responsible for it. The next morning, Hyun-nam visits the shaman and pretends to get a reading for So-hee. While there, she sees Yeonjin's mother arrive to ask about the man blackmailing her. Yeonjin's mother secretly offers the shaman 1 billion won to help get rid of him. As Hyun-nam leaves, Yeonjin calls and asks what Hyejong has been doing lately. Hyun-nam reveals that Hyejong has moved in with Jae-joon. Shocked, Yeonjin rushes to Jae-joon's house and finds Hyejong there. Feeling confident because she is now engaged to Jae-joon, Hyejong proudly says she already called off her wedding with another rich man. Yeonjin accuses Hyejong of working with Dong-eun and demands to know what Dong-eun asked her to do. Hyejong tells her to leave and hints that there is a major reason why Jae-joon has been avoiding her. Later, Hyejong visits Sarah in jail and tells her that Yeonjin leaked information about Sarah's tax fraud to distract people from her own bullying scandal. Furious after hearing this, Sarah starts planning her revenge against Yeonjin. Meanwhile, Donghyun visits her apartment to pay her landlady, who tells her that her mother has been causing trouble again. Donghyun asks why she never mentioned her mother's earlier visit, and the old woman says Donghyun deserves to have at least one person supporting her. Later, Donghyun returns to Yojung's house and accidentally finds the letters sent by Youngchun. After reading them, she feels sad seeing how cruelly Youngchun keeps mocking and tormenting Yojung. At the same time, Yojung visits the prison where Youngchun is locked up to apply for a job as a medical officer. When he sees Youngchun, he promises to get revenge someday. Yojung still cannot accept that Youngchun killed his father just for amusement. Meanwhile, Shin Youngjun receives bad news when the lottery shop owner tells him the funeral home has been sold. The owner warns him to deal with Myung-oh's body before someone discovers it. Later, the owner secretly calls Yojung and tells him he already informed Shin Youngjun. Yojung asks him to contact him again if they try moving the body. When Yojung returns home, he finds that Donghyun has prepared food for him, which deeply touches him. Donghyun asks how his day was, but he only says he went somewhere far away. She does not ask more questions because she already knows he visited Youngchun. Donghyun then asks if things would have been different if they had met under different circumstances. Yojung says nothing would have changed because he still would have fallen for her. He is surprised when Donghyun suddenly hugs him. After the scandal involving her mother, Donghyun decides to quit her job. Before leaving, she sincerely apologizes to Yesol. Later, she calls her mother and warns her to leave the apartment before she arrives. However, when Donghyun gets there, she finds her mother drunk and spending time with several men. Her mother cruelly accuses Donghyun of trying to steal her boyfriend and says she wishes she had never given birth to her. Donghyun reminds her that she was the one who betrayed and hurt her. During their argument, her mother deliberately starts a fire. Meanwhile, the detective investigating Myung-oh's disappearance questions Yeonjin, but she denies knowing anything. Later, she meets Shin Youngjun, who tries to demand more money from her. He says he plans to retire early and move to Hawaii. Shocked, Yeonjin asks why she should pay for his retirement. Shin Youngjun reveals that he still has Myung-oh's body and never buried it. While they are talking, the police receive news that a body has been discovered. The body is confirmed to be Myung-oh. The men hired by Donghyun secretly leave Myung-oh's body outside a building and anonymously report it to the police. Soon, officers arrive at the scene and begin collecting evidence. At the same time, Shin Youngjun cannot contact the lottery shop owner and realizes Myung-oh's body is gone. Yeonjin then gets a call from Haejung telling her that Myung-oh has been found dead. Shocked and furious, Yeonjin smashes her handbag against the funeral home drawers. Realizing everything is falling apart, Shin Youngjun quickly calls his sister to sell the motel and empties his safe. He plans to escape before the police catch him. He sends his wife away, but before leaving the country, he receives a call from Yeonjin's mother asking to meet him one last time. Meanwhile, Yojung obtains video proof showing Donghyun's mother intentionally started the fire. Using the footage, they manage to place her in a rehabilitation facility. Donghyun feels relieved because she can finally live without her mother interfering in her life. At the same time, Yojung repairs the damaged room and meets the landlady, who says she does not mind helping because Donghyun once saved her life. Elsewhere, Sarah is released on bail and returns home to find her old phone. On it are videos showing Yeonjin bullying Sohee for wearing the same clothes as her. Furious, Sarah begins planning revenge against Yeonjin. Meanwhile, Do-young reads the online accusations about his wife and asks to meet Donghyun. He wants to know if the claims that Yeonjin bullied Sohee are true. Donghyun asks Do-young why he wants the truth. She questions whether he plans to protect Yeonjin or help her instead. Donghyun gives him Sohee's information and tells him to meet Sohee's mother. Do-young also asks if revenge will truly make her happy, and Donghyun quietly says she hopes it will. Later, his lawyers warn him to carefully think about whether he still wants to stay connected to Yeonjin once more details become public. Meanwhile, Yeonjin meets Jae-jun and desperately begs him to save her. She confesses what happened to Sohee and Myung-oh. She admits that before Sohee died, She burned her and later called her mother and the detective to cover everything up. Now she asks Jae-jun to protect her for the sake of their daughter, Ye-sol. Jae-jun agrees and promises to help her. Later, Jae-jun asks his lawyer if there is any way to stop Myung-oh's autopsy, but the lawyer says it is impossible. Jae-jun then arranges a meeting with Do-young. During the meeting, he says that since he once helped cover up So-hee's death, it is now his turn to protect Yeon-jin in Myung-oh's case. Jae-jun even uses Ye-sol to pressure Do-young, saying they cannot let her grow up known as the daughter of a murderer. Afterward, Do-young speaks with his lawyer, who advises him to be very careful. He then asks the lawyer to look for a school abroad for Ye-sol. After leaving Jae-jun, Yeon-jin returns home and finds Sarah waiting for her. Sarah angrily accuses her of betrayal. During their conversation, Yeon-jin suddenly remembers that she accidentally left evidence behind at the funeral home. As Dongwon's revenge plan continues smoothly, she and Yeojung grow even closer. Dongwon admits that she still keeps emotional walls around herself, but Yeojung keeps breaking through them with his kindness and support. Later that night, Hyunnam's husband receives a call from the shaman, who tells him to come collect his money. Excited that his blackmail worked, he rushes out after hearing that Yeonjin's mother is ready to pay him 1 billion won. Unknown to him, it is a trap. The shaman helps set him up, and Yeonjin's mother deliberately hits him with her car while pretending it was an accident. She also brings Shin Young-jun with her so he can act as a witness. Shin Young-jun realizes what she planned and becomes angry, but he has no choice except to cooperate. Yeonjin's mother warns him that if one of them falls, they both will. From a distance, Dongwon secretly watches everything happen before approaching the shaman. At the same time, Yeonjin sneaks to the funeral home at night to search for the evidence she accidentally left behind. However, Yeojung catches her and forces her to leave. He hands her the missing piece of her handbag and sarcastically tells her to drive safely. As Yeonjin leaves, she receives a message from her mother saying she is at the police station and asking her to come immediately. At the station, Yeonjin's mother and Shin Young-jun give their statements to the police. Since there is no evidence suggesting foul play, the police currently believe the incident was only a traffic accident and advise Yeonjin's mother to settle matters with the victim's family. Dong-yeon meets with the detective investigating Myung-oh's death and answers his questions. The detective suspects she was secretly giving information to Myung-oh, but admits that is not a crime. Dong-yeon asks him to seriously investigate the case and trust what she is saying. She also brings up So-hee's death and asks him to test a lighter found near the scene for DNA evidence. Meanwhile, Yeonjin picks up her mother and takes her to the shaman. During the ritual, the shaman pretends to be possessed by So-hee's spirit as part of their plan. Combined with the shock of learning that the man her mother hit was Hyunnam's husband, Yeonjin begins mentally breaking down. Memories of the events surrounding So-hee's death start coming back to her. From afar, Dongwon quietly watches everything happen. This time, she left Yeojung at home. While there, Yeojung receives a message saying he has been given a job interview at the prison. At the same time, Hyunnam visits the morgue to identify her husband's body. She pretends to be a grieving wife, and nobody suspects that she was involved in the events leading to his death. Dongwon remembers finding Yeonjin's name tag after So-hee died. In the present, Dongwon watches the shaman pretend to be possessed by So-hee's spirit. Yeonjin gets terrified, and the shaman suddenly faints as if cursed. Everyone runs away in fear except Dong-yeon, while Yeonjin's mother wakes up shocked at the shaman's house. Later, Yeonjin meets Hyunnam and accuses her of using her mother to kill her husband. Hyunnam slaps her twice and warns her to stay away. She says she is no longer scared of Yeonjin and will fight back if Yeonjin harms her or her daughter again. Do-young secretly watches them and pays off the men following Hyunnam. He warns them that Shin Young-jun is planning to leave the country. Then, Do-young gives Yeonjin one last chance. He tells her to apologize to So-hee's family and accept punishment. If she does, he will stay with her. If not, their marriage is over. Yeonjin refuses to apologize. She says their marriage already ended when Do-young started playing Go with Dong-eun. Do-young accepts her answer and tells his lawyer to continue with the divorce. The next morning, news of their divorce spreads everywhere. People wonder if the bullying scandal caused it. Yojung jokes about the divorce, while Jae-jun worries it could hurt his chances of getting custody of Yesol. Elsewhere, Haejung worries that Jae-jun might return to Yeonjin. Sarah does not care and gets into a fight with Haejung. She insults her and tells her to leave because she is busy uploading Yeonjin's bullying videos. Meanwhile, Hyun-nam holds a funeral service for her husband at sea. When she returns home, Yeonjin's mother and a lawyer try to convince her to settle the case. Hyun-nam refuses, but Yeonjin's mother orders the lawyer to double the money and make sure she accepts. Later, Yeonjin's mother finds Dong-yeon waiting at her house. Dong-yeon reminds her of their past and asks for the name tag Yeonjin's mother got from Shin Young-jun. She gives her phone number and tells her to choose between protecting her daughter or saving herself. At the same time, Sarah uploads a video showing Yeonjin bullying So-hee and threatening her. Yeonjin's boss confronts her, and she admits to bullying, but denies murder. She quits her job and returns home. There, Ye-sol reveals she already saw the videos and says she is ashamed of her mother. She is also struggling at school because of the scandal. The next morning, Yeonjin holds a press conference and claims she is innocent. She says she will sue the people accusing her. She also claims So-hee took her own life because she was pregnant and could not handle it. Acting like the victim, Yeonjin leaves for Myung-oh's funeral, while the detective keeps searching for more evidence with Dong-eun's help. At Myung-oh's funeral, chaos breaks out when Haejung uploads a video of Sarah sleeping with Myung-oh. At first, Sarah thinks Yeonjin did it, but after Haejung mocks her, she realizes the truth. Furious, Sarah grabs a pen from her hair and attacks Haejung, badly injuring her throat. Everyone at the funeral is shocked. There had already been fighting between Yeonjin and Sarah, and So-hee's mother also appeared and threw food at Myung-oh's photo. Soon, the police arrive and arrest Sarah while Haejung is rushed to the hospital. After leaving the funeral, Jae-jun visits Yeojung's clinic. He is shocked to learn So-hee was pregnant when she died and becomes worried about what the police might discover during an investigation. After Jae-jun leaves, Yeojung calls Dong-eun and reveals that Myung-oh was not the father of So-hee's baby. Jae-jun was. Later, Jae-jun calls Do-young's mother to his office and has her meet Yeonjin. He reveals that Ye-sol is actually his daughter and asks Do-young's mother to give up custody rights so he can take care of Ye-sol himself. Do-young's mother becomes furious and destroys his office. She tries calling her son, but he ignores her calls. At the same time, Do-young prepares to send Ye-sol to a new school abroad and fires her nanny. Feeling upset by everything happening around her, Ye-sol apologizes to her father, but Do-young comforts her and tells her none of it is her fault. Dong-yin visits Ju General Hospital and learns that Do-young secretly paid all of So-hee's hospital bills. As she leaves, Yeojung's mother notices her and quietly watches her from a distance. Later, Dong-yin meets Hyun-nam to say goodbye because their agreement is finally over. Dong-yin hopes Hyun-nam can now live a peaceful and happy life. Hyun-nam wishes her luck too and gives her boiled eggs before leaving. She wonders what Dong-eun was like before all the pain in her life. Dong-eun then remembers her younger days before Yeonjin ruined everything. While eating the eggs later, Dong-eun recalls the first time she met her landlady when she was still working at a laundry shop as a young girl. At the hospital, doctors save Haejung's life, but they cannot repair her damaged vocal cords. They tell Jae-jun that she will most likely never speak again. After hearing this, Jae-jun cruelly leaves her and asks if he should send her belongings later. Haejung feels heartbroken and abandoned. Around the same time, the news reveals that Sarah's father has been arrested for stealing church funds. Dong-eun is also at the hospital when Yeojung calls to congratulate her for successfully taking revenge on Sarah and Haejung. During their conversation, it is revealed that they secretly handled Myung-oh's body and placed Yeonjin's DNA under his nails after Shin Young-jun had removed all the original evidence. Dong-eun asks Yeojung where he is going, and he tells her he is heading to prison for an interview to work there as a medical officer. During the visit, Young-chon finally explains why he killed Yeojung's father. He says he became angry because the doctor cared more about his son than him, so he killed him out of resentment. In the end, Yo-jung does not get the job. On his way home, he cries while thinking about Young-chon's words. He later visits his mother, who notices he has been crying, but he hides it and asks her to have lunch with him instead. At the same time, the detective receives the DNA results and realizes the DNA found on Myung-oh's body matches the DNA from the lighter at So-hee's crime scene. The police quickly gather everyone connected to the case to collect DNA samples. Meanwhile, Yeonjin receives a message from Dong-eun saying she handed the name tag to the police. Dong-eun calls Yeonjin to watch her own mother betray her. Yeonjin's mother admits she will not go to prison just to protect her daughter. Dong-eun points out that Yeonjin and her mother are the same, both willing to betray others for themselves. Heartbroken, Yeonjin cries and asks her mother why she betrayed her. As Dong-eun drives home, she gets a call saying So-hee's mother has collapsed and is being taken to the hospital. When Dong-eun arrives, she is shocked to discover that Yo-jung is So-hee's mother's legal guardian. She meets him there and asks how long he has known about So-hee, saying she now needs his help. Dong-eun asks Yo-jung if he always knew she would come to him for help. He says yes and reveals that he already knew So-hee's body was hidden in the freezer. He also admits that he followed Dong-eun after they first met at the hospital in 2011. Dong-eun thought she was using him, but Yo-jung says he willingly let her do it because he already knew he wanted to help her get revenge. Yo-jung says he was surprised when Dong-eun suddenly left after their Go lessons. Dong-eun explains that after hearing about Yo-jung's father's death, she realized she was not the only person suffering. Feeling guilty, she decided to leave. Yo-jung jokes that he worried she left because he was not her type. He then asks her not to leave him again unless it is for love. Dong-eun agrees and asks him to stay by her side until the end. Later, Dong-eun visits Hye-jong in the hospital after Sarah injured her throat, leaving her unable to speak. Dong-eun thanks her for helping bring down Sarah and Yeonjin, then asks if she wants revenge on Jae-jun too. After leaving the hospital, Hye-jong goes to Jae-jun's house to collect her belongings. While packing, she remembers Dong-eun giving her a chance to take revenge by changing Jae-jun's glaucoma medicine. Dong-eun left the decision up to her. After Jae-jun treats her coldly again, Hye-jong finally switches the medicine. At the same time, Shin Young-jun faces his own downfall. His men discover he plans to abandon them and escape the country while leaving them to take the blame for his crimes. Furious, they attack and kill him before planning to hide his body. Elsewhere, Yeonjin slowly falls into depression after receiving a video of the day Myung-oh died. She rushes to Jae-jun's store and finds the police investigating the fitting room as a crime scene and collecting DNA evidence. Soon after, she is arrested. It is revealed that Dong-eun sent both the video and an anonymous tip to the police. At the same time, Jae-jun goes to Ye-sol's school to tell her that he is her real father. However, he mistakes another girl for Ye-sol. A parent then informs him that Ye-sol has already moved to a new school abroad. Furious, Jae-jun tries calling Do-young but cannot reach him. He then calls Dong-eun and demands to know what she did to his daughter. As he drives to meet her, his eyesight becomes worse because he is using the eye drops Hye-jung switched. Unable to see clearly, he crashes his car. Meanwhile, Dong-eun meets a detective who says he believes Yeonjin's mother killed Hun-nam's husband because he was blackmailing her. He also suspects Dong-eun was involved, but he has no evidence and admits she technically broke no laws. In the end, Yeonjin's mother made the choice herself. The police later arrest her while she is trying to pressure Hun-nam into settling the case. Dong-eun thanks the detective for trusting her anonymous tip, and the detective apologizes for being 18 years too late. In prison, Yeonjin signs her divorce papers while Do-young watches. He tells her to hire a good lawyer. Yeonjin says it feels cruel that he came in person just to give her the papers. When she asks where he and Ye-sol are going, Do-young says they are moving to the UK. Yeonjin asks if she can write letters to Ye-sol, but Do-young ignores the request and quietly leaves. Meanwhile, Hyun-nam gives Song-hee the car Dong-eun left for her. Dong-eun also asked Hyun-nam to deliver money to her former teacher. Later, Dong-eun calls Yo-jung and invites him on a trip to the ocean. He happily agrees, and they enjoy the drive together while he sings to her. They stop near a lighthouse and drink together. But while Yo-jung goes to buy more beer, Dong-yeon suddenly calls him to say goodbye. He rushes back to find her, but she is already gone. Later, Dong-yeon visits Yeonjin in prison and tells her she finally got her revenge. She says she wants Yeonjin to regret her life every single day. Yeonjin insists she has no regrets. Then a flashback reveals that Gyeongran was there when Myung-oh died. He begged her for help, but after years of abuse and fear, she finally attacked him herself. Before this, Gyeongran had secretly texted Dong-eun and confessed everything while asking for help. Dong-eun promised to help her, but told her to stop living trapped in the past. Before leaving, Dong-eun tells Yeonjin that she hopes prison becomes a living hell for her. She also refuses to explain what really happened to Myung-oh, which makes Yeonjin furious. Yeonjin screams that she will kill Dong-eun one day. After leaving the prison, Dong-eun burns all the old photos connected to her revenge and says goodbye to her painful past. Believing everything is finally over, she goes to the abandoned building where So-hee died and tries to end her life. Just before she can jump, Yo-jung's mother arrives and stops her, asking her to save her son instead. Yo-jung's mother begs Dong-eun not to end her life. She says that if Dong-eun dies, Yo-jung will suffer too. She understands Dong-eun's pain, but believes death is not the answer. She asks Dong-eun to help save Yo-jung from the pain caused by Kang Young-chon, who keeps sending cruel letters without showing any regret for killing Yo-jung's father. Dong-eun chooses to keep living and spends 6 months at a monastery. There, she becomes friends with a judge and asks for help transferring Young-chon to a harsher prison. Meanwhile, Yo-jung spends every day hoping Dong-eun will return. When she finally comes back, he is shocked and upset that she left without a word. Dong-eun admits she missed him, and when he asks why she left, she says maybe it was because of love, not revenge. Yo-jung confesses that his own revenge did not go the way he wanted. Dong-eun tells him she will help him now and promises to become his executioner. The two finally share a passionate kiss. After returning, Dong-eun remembers the truth about her kind landlady. Years ago, when Dong-eun was young and struggling after a difficult day at the laundry shop, she had wanted to end her life. That same day, she stopped the older woman from doing the same after the woman lost her son. Realizing they had once saved each other, Dong-eun sends her landlady a letter thanking her for saving her life too. Dong-yeon starts living peacefully with Yo-jung, and together they wonder what really happened to Jae-jun after his accident. It is later revealed that Jae-jun survived the crash, but Do-young secretly pushed him off a building and buried him in cement before leaving the country with Ye-sol. Later, Dong-yeon begins working as a volunteer teacher at Jisan Prison, where Young-chon was transferred. She contacts Hyun-nam, who has been lonely after missing her daughter and now runs a small restaurant. Happy to hear Dong-eun needs help, Hyun-nam quickly goes to join her. At the same time, Yo-jung gets a job at the prison as a medical officer. He helps another prisoner by arranging treatment for the prisoner's sister. In return, the prisoner agrees to help Yo-jung deal with Young-chon. In the final moments, Dong-eun visits So-hae's grave before leaving with Yo-jung for Jisan Prison. Before entering, the two confess their love for each other and prepare to begin Yo-jung's revenge together. This video took forever to make, so please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed it and want more videos like this.